Wake up, wake up, wake up! I am your host, Chantel, better known as Miss Recycle, and you are officially on the Wake Up and Smell the Coffee show. Infinity TV, baby. Let's go. Part two, because you know how they do, always cutting me off. Now, I believe I left off at the grandmother turtle codes, I believe. So now I'm going to go into the turtle codes. Okay? The turtle codes, y'all. Whew. This gets deep because you got to remember we're on Turtle Island. They want to play with the black history. We're going to give them some brown history, okay? Some indigenous history. So here we go. And you know how I do it. I let Google read it to you because the fact checkers ain't going to be fact checking me. Fact check Google. Here we go.
Turtle Codes. Published by Ascension Glossary. Starseed Client Session Transcript. Themes: Grid opening in Queensland. Turtle Codes. Cosmic Mother returning to reclaim her creations. 6D wing repair. Seraphim clearing. Upgrading marriage contract from 3D to 5D and above contract.
Wow.
Opening. I feel at this time a very strong relationship to where you are, and your trek into Queensland recently, which is interesting. I don't know much about this. I'll go ahead and open the session, but I'm feeling grandmother energy. The grandmother circle. I don't have a lot of cognizance about shamanic training in the indigenous peoples. But there seems to be something happening on the planet right now that is at least in my awareness. A merging of galactic coding with the indigenous peoples. And I'm feeling some kind galactic coding, star language coding, coming through parts of the landmass. And I know we had a session when we went into Queensland and we were seeing a pretty horrific timeline that was getting cleared up, very similar to a slavery of the indigenous peoples and the oppression of the female principle.
Wow.
And when we start investigating the indigenous cultures, the Aboriginal cultures have been so much more honoring and connected to the body of our Mother Earth than the Earth itself.
Wow.
And so here today in feeling you and connecting to you, there's an exchange and transmission circuiting, which has to do with bridging galactic coding and star language into the landmass through what seems to be, if I could say, the gatekeepers of that particular grid system.
I believe that.
So the last time we were there, you were there in Queensland, there was a witnessing and awareness of a timeline that we were being called to support in clearing and resolving. Not only by witnessing it, but as well assisting in the release of pain and trapped souls and things that have been bound within the landmass. Now there feels to be a different level where there is a transmission coding.
Listen.
It is interesting because I'm seeing the group grid work, almost as if the template and morphogenic field or instruction sets, the coding that is a part of our community connection and the hubs that we build and create through our own bodies and connecting into the community. That there is an exchange happening when you are in Queensland that has to do with restoring the rightful coding, which is galactic coding to the indigenous peoples.
Rescue, reclaim, restore, baby.
Grandmother turtle lineage.
That's right.
Seraphim winged ones clearing.
Seraphim.
Update marriage template. Queensland grid. References.
Excuse me. And under references, you have Starseed and Grandmother Turtle Codes, okay? Now, they keep talking about the grandmother because y'all know the grandmother is the one who kept the household together, who kept the family together, right? Now, once the grandmothers passed away, it seemed like everything just fell apart, right? We used to do the Sunday dinners and, we all get together on Sunday and at least had that Sunday dinner. But after your grandmother passed away, all of those traditions seemed like they just dwindled, right? They passed away too, right? So now the grandmothers are like getting younger and younger. And the values and morals that our grandmothers before them had, these grandmothers, most of them, they don't have it because they're so young. And it seems like they're partying with their children and with their grandchildren. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got ghetto grandmothers nowadays. We don't have the grandmothers that were holding the family together and with the values and the morals and things like that. So it's very important, y'all, that we kind of like try to stick to those old traditions. Like, I don't know. That's why I recycle, because I like old stuff. It's more durable. Like, you know what I'm saying? My table is more durable than these newer tables because it's an older table. My chair, you know, I got old stuff up in here. It's good stuff. It look good, but it's older stuff. I don't care. I'm a recycler, baby. And it's about the quantity, not it's about the quality, right? Has to be good, right? And the quantity is very important, right? So that's what happens when you recycle. You get that good stuff. I like it. So anywho, right? We're going to jump right into it. They're talking about the seraphim, okay? I want you guys we hear about the seraphim a lot in the Bible, right? So these were the guardians of the earth, right? So when you look at those pictures back in the day of the Egyptians, right? They have like these bird-looking things outside of their door, guarding the door with the wings. Look like a half tiger, half wing, half bird or something like that. That's what the seraphims are. And they were the ones who were guarding the earth or guarding the gate. You know what I'm saying? They were the guardians, and somehow they fell, but they're starting to get their ways back, get their knowledge back. So let's listen. Fact check Google. Google.
Seraphim. Published by Ascension Glossary. The Seraphim lineage is one of the original founder primal sound fields of the Gold Order Ray, which encompasses the seraph lineage of which would be called the Winged Ones, in terms of avian genetic bird beings, or the angelic seraphim. They are an extension of the family entity of Ra, 14D, from the next universe through Andromeda Galaxy, the 7 higher heavens which live within the practices of the Law of One. The seraphim had their own schism and enslavement issues, having been intricately involved with the creation of the planet Earth and involved with its many timelines and histories of the evolution of the human race. As the seraphim races committed to help humanity evolve from the lower creational realm of 3D Earth, they experienced their consciousness descending rapidly, to which is result of the fallen angelic fragmented mind matrix.
Mm-hmm.
The seraphim were a part of the original creators of the divine human species prototype that were genetically designed with the potential to evolve into embodied Christos consciousness. Their energy signature and imprint is certainly a part of all of us as human beings and part of the planet Earth collective consciousness. One of the things that the seraphs did many moons ago in the human evolution experiment is actually create a ley line and axiational lines grid system on the Earth. The seraphim became the guardians of the Earth to protect the horizontal shields in their timelines until the humans could evolve to such level to become the guardians of the Earth.
What happened?
This was done in a grid or ley line consciousness and ray structure that is referred to as the Golden Eagle Pylon Network, Golden Eagle Grid. This was actually a creation of the collective guardian founder races, of which the guardian seraphim and avian races became through this grid known as the Golden Eagle Grid, the guardians of the horizontals. The horizontal ley lines are the network that create the clock shield template instructions that directly control the consciousness movement through time and space as a linear experience, and therefore are related to the morphogenic field that create horizontal timelines in many dimensions. Fallen angelic history. Quetzalcoatl and Seraphim lineages.
Quetzalcoatl.
Family of Michael. Fallen angelics. Seraphim line heart healing.
Now, under C also, you have fallen angelics, golden eagle grid, and the Quetzalcoatl. right? I want you guys to take a listen to that because that Quetzalcoatl is linked to the natives, right? I think of Mexico, if I'm not mistaken. But I'm gonna let them break it down to you one time down, because you're fact checkers ain't fact checking me. Fact check Google. Here we go. Take a listen, y'all. I want y'all to listen. Pay attention very closely. We're going down a rabbit hole today.
Quetzalcoatl. Published by Ascension Glossary. Quetzalcoatl is an aspect that has been spawned from the seraphim lineage and has a very deep history with human beings as a part of the consciousness of the fallen angelics, Thothian luciferians, and golden ego grid.
I never knew that.
Quetzalcoatl became a part of the fallen angelic races, as a part of the fallen seraphim and reptilian hybrids that had become distorted from the controls and wars over this horizontal network, the GEG grid. The fallen angelics became distorted negative forms of the mind and original perfection of the seraphim. Quetzalcoatl became one of those reptilian hybridized false gods integrated into the human consciousness that was inappropriately being distorted into promotion of SRA blood sacrifice, human or animal sacrifice to support the Quetzalcoatl consciousness grid to continue to feed life force and energy into the golden eagle.
Wow.
We can see the distortion of the seraphim as represented through one of the god lineages of the seraphim, which is Quetzalcoatl, that had been bound and enslaved into a negative form and shadow element of its own original perfection.
Wow.
A way to understand this is as human beings have suffered polarization and separation from God's source and completion in their wholeness. This happened to the galactic beings, as well of which is what Quetzalcoatl is sourcing from as a galactic consciousness entity. In that relationship to the Earth's evolution that the seraphim and Quetzalcoatl suffered along with beings in consciousness, like the Archangel Michael Collective, family of Michael, these fallen angelic families in consciousness suffered a negative split in polarization in consciousness that was not what I could explain as their choice, but a byproduct of the distortion of the planetary and universal fields of creation which we are comprised in this time and space.
Like brainwash.
So it's important to understand this extreme polarization, the consciousness split, the schism goes way beyond planet Earth. It is something that is way beyond even human beings and is actually impacting many other levels of consciousness in our universal time matrix, such as has been revealed today.
Wow.
Family of Michael.
This shit gets deep.
Quetzalcoatl session transcript. References.
Wow. Now they spoke about the Thothian luciferians, right? Gold eagle grids. What else? The GEG grids. Then you have false gods. We already went through that. That's when the Yahweh and Jehovah came up. Told y'all, stop calling Jay-Z that shit, because it's doing nothing but building up his ego. You know what I'm saying? And that's feeding that deity to give him power. He's using y'all energy to gain power. Yo, this is deep. I can't make this shit up, yo. I'm trying to figure out. Let's go to the Thothian luciferians. Thothians luciferians. Now, listen, y'all. Take a listen. I'm going to let Google read it to you, baby, because the fact checkers ain't fact checking me. Here we go.
Thothian luciferians. Published by Ascension Glossary. The Thothian luciferians and their allies are organizing the next stages of planned takeover of all New Age, Ascension and Disclosure communities through planned infiltration, with their specific grooming of an assortment of Pied Pipers. This controlled opposition agenda will also extend to any 3D organizations and public leaders with some power and influence that are connecting the larger dots towards seeing and understanding the key players that are embedded in multiple levels of planetary corruption, such as the gaslighting and propaganda schemes that exist in the many facades of the geopolitical climate that are used as cover-ups to veil the exopolitical conflicts. In conveying the greater understanding of current events and who is behind them, let us return to the first major milestone in the planetary ascension cycle with the onset of grid wars. This is the phase when the Na groups were put on notice that the ascension waves were indeed beginning to awaken the population on planet Earth, despite the electroshock equipment and fences they had in place as the net.
Wow.
For these organized groups that served the Thothian Luciferian, Galactic Federation, and related negative alien agendas, the most important goal was to ensure that the majority of the Earth humans would not awaken to realize that they were in a consciousness prison. Thus, it was very important to relay information that would divert people away from remembering what had truly happened to them and how they ended up in the mind-controlled prison.
Wow.
Harmonic Convergence begins Luciferian Task Force.
Believable.
Brotherhood of the Snake. Luciferian Covenant. New Age Astral Bliss. Who is the original Lucifer? Illuminati Bloodlines.
Wow.
Artificial Tree of Life. Spiritual Betrayal of Blue Flame Melchizedeks.
Blue. Jay-Z.
Thothian Betrayal of 11th Tribe Essenes.
Wow.
References.
I can't make this shit up, y'all. And undersea also is Galactic Federations, weaponization of the New Age, Anunnaki hybrid fallen angelics. Listen, I can't, oh my goodness, y'all. Did you hear them talk about the Pied Piper though? I didn't do a build about it, but I made a post about it, okay? And I think I'm gonna do a build about that next because it's something about that Andre 3000 blowing the flute, looking like the Pied Piper to me. All right? I connected him to the Pied Piper. His whole album is just him blowing the flute. Blowing the flute. Now, we know that the flute is very powerful, okay? Those flutes are the flutes that make the snakes dance. Okay? Now, if you know the story of the Pied Piper, he used the flute to get rid of the mice and the rats for the people. The people chose not to pay him, so he came back and put the children under the spell with the flute. Lured the children out of the town. Basically, first case of, what would you call it? Human trafficking. Kidnapping. He stole the town's children. Had the children under his spell through his flute. And that's what I believe Andre 3000 is doing. I don't know if it's connected to, I don't know. But I know there's some type of connection between him and that Pied Piper. When I saw him in the flute, that was the first thing I thought of was the Pied Piper, y'all. I cannot make this stuff up, okay? I can't. This is crazy, okay? Like, oh my goodness. Let's go there. Where is the Pied Piper at? I think that was in like the first paragraph. Yo, this is crazy. So now listen, let us see what they have to say about the Pied Piper. All right? Listen, y'all. Once again, we're going to let Google do its thing, baby, because ain't no fact checkers fact checking me. Let's go.
Pied Piper. Published by Ascension Glossary. A Pied Piper is a leader whom people willingly follow from seduction, charisma, or enchantment. This often denotes an influential person that leads others into distraction, danger, or trouble by means of elaborate false promises and sensationalistic narratives. The Pied Piper originated in German legend as a musician who rids Hamelin of its rats by leading them with his piping to the river, where they drown. In revenge for not being paid, he pipes the village children to a mountain, where they disappear. The legend dates back to the Middle Ages, the earliest references describing a piper, dressed in multicolored, pied clothing, who was a rat catcher hired by the town to lure rats away with his magic pipe. When the citizens refuse to pay for this service, he retaliates by using his instrument's magical power on their children, leading them away as he had the rats.
Wow.
This version of the story spread as folklore and has appeared in the writings of Johann Wolfgang von Goethe, the brothers Grimm, and Robert Browning, among others. New Age, Ascension Disclosure Hijack. Controlled Opposition. References.
And under references, they have see also Battle for Disclosure and Weaponization of the New Age. Now, let's see what the Battle of Disclosure is about. We're going down a rabbit hole today, y'all. I got about 10 more minutes before they try to cut me off. I already know they got a little 30-minute mark on me, I see. So we're going to get into it, baby. Let Google read it to you because ain't no fact checkers fact checking me. Here we go.
Battle for Disclosure. Published by Ascension Glossary. Humanity is enduring a hidden multidimensional battle for disclosure which is gradually happening as the collective consciousness shifts into higher dimensional planes as the result of the ascension cycle. It is evident that there is a hijack of the disclosure movement in order to gain total control over how that particular content is being shared with the public.
Misinformation.
This is occurring via the spreading of familiar narratives and the same propaganda tactics that are used for the purpose of psychological manipulation of the intended audience and the key players. For propaganda to be effective, it has to have a mouthpiece. There must be key players or persons in positions of power with significant control over mass communication media who are thought to have credibility with a large audience that makes them money.
Wow.
Controlled opposition is the predictable manipulation tactic of placing key people in key positions and into leadership roles of a particular movement, who many times have suddenly appeared and offered the public incredible facts or amazing nuggets of truth. Maybe it is a pundit personality looking to gather a large online following through disseminating the cabal wars through the QAnon movement. Maybe it's a guru personality offering DNA activation and the ability to manifest anything you want. As a result of the sensationalism, marketing, or other methods to deliver this level of information, they gain power and influence from the amount of people that have gathered, along with the online clicks and money that is spent on their products or watching them at events.
Wow.
Power and influence are forces gathered through which they become a Pied Piper, a person that is celebrated, worshipped, or made into a hero, seemingly leading gullible people into any direction, when ultimately, they were placed there as a wolf in sheep's clothing to derail and hijack the original goals of that movement.
Woo!
The strategy of controlled opposition works best under circumstances in which the masses are gullible, credulous, lack critical thinking, and are unable to connect the dots and see how the actions and inaction or manipulation of the information from the controlled entity is actually benefiting the controlling entity.
Wow.
Deception tactics 101 are used to generate mental fabrications and emotional reactions intended for seizing control, power, benefits, and advantages at the victim's expense. That may be to intentionally spread disinformation or outright lies to stimulate emotional reactions, so people do not use critical thinking in discerning the quality or truthfulness of the information they are being given. The golden rule of deception is management of the other person's perception, such that they do not know any deception is happening and accept whatever you tell them or spoon-feed them as truthful. If we don't realize that we are being lied to, we are at a disadvantage. This blocks out our higher discernment in determining the quality of people and objects that are emanating these combinations of forces that are dark or light, positive or negative, alien or human, or anything else for that matter.
Wow.
The disclosure movement has been intentionally shaped into the left brain composite of the branch of alternative researchers and presenters who still operate on the presumption that the scientific method promoted by academia is credible and attempt to deliver evidence-based information that can be corroborated through multiple parties of expert witnesses. The movement towards disclosure is predominantly geared towards those males that are polarized in their mental body and masculine energy, the intellectual profile that rely on the sole basis of their physical body's 5 basic senses. If they can see it in the visible light spectrum, well then, they'll believe it. Thus, the primary profile of key people that are populating the disclosure movement tend to be 3D fact finders and researchers and not direct experiencers. Hence, many are not primarily interested in spiritual development or expanding consciousness.
Wow.
This provides a blaring blind spot for dark manipulation to incite negative ego behaviors, and dominating egos run amok as the result of gaining some power and influence, where promoting a brand, merchandise, or online clicks are more important than actually having personal integrity and delivering high-quality, truthful assessments of the current conditions we find ourselves in.
Wow.
In the New Age, Ascension and Disclosure community, where large conferences and panels are gaining commercial popularity and increasing profitability, victims and victimizers are generated in those communities like the flavor of the month.
Wow.
From personal experiences and continued observation of key players, backstabbing and two-faced lying are standard fare at these events, along with a large smile flashing right on cue to endear the applauding audience.
Wow.
Most seasoned presenters with some semblance of personal integrity and ethical conduct learn very quickly that the majority of the people on these circuits are not your friends or peer group.
Listen.
They will turn on you quite viciously if you deviate from their approved topics or narratives, or if you are perceived as threatening to their power base.
Wow.
Some of the most hostile mind-controlled people are on these panels and in these communities, as many are being directly controlled by the Thothian groups. Thus, they are highly reactive and emotionally explosive when they feel they are being challenged in any way.
Wow.
Full disclosure event. New World Order.
Wow, y'all. Now that one blew me away. I didn't even listen to that one yet, okay? This is my first time hearing it with you guys. A lot of this information I am just now coming across, listening to it with you, okay? Because it's so deep. It's like I listen to one thing, it'll lead me to another, and I kind of skip over some things sometimes. But when I sit here and go through it with you guys, I try to make sure that I hit all of the key points, okay? And this one right here really hit it. I'm going to tell you right now. The game is to be told, not sold, okay? The game is to be told, not sold. So when you got somebody up around here trying to sell the game to you, you know they ain't real. All that, oh, cash at me this and cash. I have never, ever told y'all not once to cash at me anything. There was one point in time that I was doing a fundraiser when I was advocating for people. And I still advocate for people. And guess what? Sometimes I don't get a damn dime. All right? Most of the time I don't get a dime. Even when I was doing the fundraiser, I didn't raise no money for that shit. Okay? Because guess what? The real ones, motherfuckers ain't gonna like. Motherfuckers ain't gonna like I say, as long as I reach one person, I've done my job, because that one person can reach 1 million people. You understand me? It's always possible that one person that I reach can go out and reach 1 million people. So if I reach one person, I have done my job, okay? The game is to be told, not sold. We have to get our people back on the right track. And I can't sell you this information. This ain't no shit I can sell you. Because this shit you can go Google and find it for free. And I'm going to tell you where to go to, baby. And if you want to donate something to me, that's fine. But if you don't, that's okay too. But I'm not up here advertising my Cash App. And I'm not up here saying I got t-shirts for sale. And I do. I make t-shirts. I make buttons. I do all that. But I'm not up here advertising that. I am up here giving you the information that you need in order for you to ascend. That's what it's about, okay? So when you have people, like I said, that's in your ear, they got this big old fan base and all this other stuff, beware of that. Beware of those people. Like the Most High says, test those spirits. Test them. You have the right to, and you have dominion over these demons. And once you discover that, baby, there's nothing that nobody gonna be able to do or say to you, baby, because you have dominion over these demons. Remember that, okay? Remember that. And the government works for you. You don't work for them. We pay them off of our tax-paying dollars, okay? We pay their salary. They work for us. We don't work for them. So whatever it is that you tell them to do, they are supposed to do it. The only reason why they are in control is because you don't know the rules. Plain and simple. You don't know how the game go. That's why I'm here to break it down to you and show you, tell you, and let you know how the game go, baby, and let you know what to do, how to defend yourself. You need to know the law. You need to know those amendments, but most importantly, you need to know these treaties. These treaties supersede all of that stuff. We're going to get into that another day, but baby, I'm telling you, this one right here, whoo, it really hit, whew. That shit right there hit me, baby, because they ain't never lied. They talk about the misinformation online. You know, you hear them talk about that. They want to fact check you, right? They're always trying to fact check us. That's why I let Google read it, because they ain't going to fact check Google. It's coming from the source. It's not coming from the horse's mouth. You understand me? It's coming from the source's mouth. Remember that. So now, under this, you have the Anunnaki hybrid falling angelics. You also have the weaponization of the New Age. You have the Galactic Federation and the Thothian luciferians. Listen. Whew. This shit is deep, y'all. And like I said, I can't make this stuff up. And on that note, I'm out. Remember, y'all, positive energy always creates elevation. Free Rashad Jamal. I'm out. Stay positive and stay dangerous.